2 months into the worst of the coronavirus pandemic, and airlines are starting to learn a new kind of demand.
I was on an airplane yesterday with 99 passengers on board.
Passenger traffic is still down over 90%, but the big carriers are figuring out how to keep planes as full as possible, avoiding losses with every takeoff. Most airlines only break even if more than about 80% of their seats are full. And when passenger counts rise, yes, even in the middle seat, so do questions about safety. A lack of federal mandates leaves behind a patchwork of airline policies with questionable enforceability.
I flew yesterday.
Dennis TAJER is a pilot for American Airlines and a spokesperson for his union.
On the airplane, everybody wore it. We had almost 100 folks on one of our flights.
American started requiring all passengers to have a face mask to board a flight Monday. But in an email to pilots Tuesday, an American Airlines manager said once on board and off the gate, the face covering policy will become more lenient. The flight attendant's role is informational, not enforcement. In other words, flight attendants can't force passengers to wear masks in flight.
It is an orchestra of a safety culture on that aircraft, and it is like its own world. And we have to have everything connecting. You cannot have gray zones and room for interpretation.
There is no FAA rule on face masks. In effect, tying the crew's hands.
What benefit is it to that flight attendant to have a federal mandate backing them up?
It's night and day. From that mandate, all of the actions we would take if someone is challenged wearing the mask it evaporates.
House Democrats' newly introduced HEROES Act would mandate masks for passengers. It would also require airlines to follow CDC and FAA guidance on health monitoring, cleaning, and telling crew if they've worked with someone infected.
It seems like it's one step of what could be many.
That's correct.
Captain Joe DePete is the head of the union that represents more than 60,000 pilots at some of North America's biggest carriers. His union has gathered dozens of reports from crew who say COVID-19 safety measures aren't always up to snuff. One complaint from earlier this month says promised enhanced cleaning didn't happen, and the airline didn't provide promised personal protective gear.
Right now, there isn't really any kind of accountability if an airline doesn't do it well. Some airlines are doing all they can, right? And others are doing much less than they can.
Polling suggests most adults support wearing face masks in public, and no union leader told Newsy it was aware of an enforcement issue so far.
You have to prepare for that so that you have a plan. And right now the plan is try to move the passenger around. Well, American has an 85% load factor maximum. There's not a whole lot of room.
Newsy reached out to the Department of Transportation Wednesday to understand why there's no mandate. The FAA responded, suggesting a face mask requirement is not in its jurisdiction. It would not explain whose authority it would be under or why a mandate doesn't yet exist.
That is a mystery to us.
We're mixing up science, right? Good medical science with politics. And that's always a dangerous combination.
James Packard, Newsy, Chicago.